All right, y'all. This is going to be an episode. Where are we at in the pandemic? 10 months? No, 9 months. 8. Who knows? We're going to do this nice and rough. I almost referenced Beyonce with the 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. But then I went to nice and rough and I don't know. Anyways, I still owe you 2 more episodes with Ngazi, but it was a busy day at work today, and I think I'll have to upload those onto the website when I can cut them. I really need to hire somebody to help, but first income. But I do have great news. The Ava Davis Show podcast. So basically, it's just these episodes in podcast form, in case you want to update yourself whilst driving or what have you. I wish I had real news for y'all today, but honestly, I'm just waiting to see where the news in this country goes. I've begun the grieving process and processing everything that's been going on. I'm not even drunk yet. That's just my first sip of wine. I do have a sneaking suspicion none of this is over. 45 will not go quietly or even dignified. At this point, it does feel like we are in 2 very different nations. Some of them are splitting off into a site called Parlay. I don't know if they pronounce it Parlay, because if they do, then do they know that they're speaking French? Neither here nor there. But time will process all of that. So in the meantime, I'm working on acting things. This past weekend, we filmed some sketches over Zoom with Critical Crop Top. And I'm going to be honest, I feel very scattered today. However, I will pull out this, and I will pull out this. They won't make any sense to you now, but I'm excited to see where these 2 things go, and I will keep you all informed as we come along. I love scripts, by the way. I love reading scripts, even if it is Shakespeare and it takes me 2 days to read 1 paragraph. I love scripts. I love making notes in scripts. I love having them in printed form. Thank God I work at a print shop so that I can have this. And then, look, I love doing tabs. Like, y'all know how I feel about tabs, and I don't know where my tab stuff is, but we'll find it. And, again, I feel like I'm scattered today. Drink. I didn't realize how stressed out my body was last week until I took stock of how my body was feeling. And it's feeling run down. My immune system feels weakened. COVID has been incredibly disruptive, and I may be losing my dentist because, long story, but it involves insurance. However, last week was incredibly stressful. There was the election, and then there was the constant coverage of it. No matter where you turned, it was there. And then I had a dentist appointment in this time of COVID, so there's the normal stress of having a dentist appointment and needles and sharp things in my mouth. But I love my dental hygienist because she's really sweet and calm. Dr. Hamdi's office with great expressions over on Virginia Avenue, and I will not say my hygienist's name because I don't know if she wants it out there, but Dr. Hamdi, he runs a really great office over there, and I really hope I don't have to leave them. I had my appointment Friday morning, and I go in there, and I'm like, all right, this could be my last appointment. And so my hygienist and I, we're chit-chatting as usual because we spend 30 minutes just talking, and then we finally get around to business. I'm not this great talker, but yeah. So we get through our first little segment, and then I'm like, it's still making me really upset. I told her this may be my last appointment. And you could just feel the tension and sadness in the room. She's really sweet, and hopefully I'm going to find a way to stay there. I didn't expect it to hit me that hard then, nor now. But, yeah, having to break up with my dental hygienist, and it may be a breakup, and it's not even a want to break up sort of situation. It's just COVID has wrecked finances and things like that, and processing, so much processing going on in the midst of an election, in the midst of COVID, in the midst of revolution and all that good stuff. There's just a lot of uncertainties in the air. COVID, businesses, finances, waiting to hear back about grants, and if the Duchess got into festivals, trying to figure out how to build an audience for this show, because I love you listeners, but I can count you on a couple of fingers. Still doing it for y'all. Anyways, and somehow trying to get the waltz made, it's a lot. One term that stuck out for me in taking Psych 101 and hearing teachers talk about their students is cohorts, the term cohorts. For me, I've come to identify the term as someone who's in the same boat as you, whether that's making a film or starting hormones or where one is at in their acting career. Because it's really not helpful to compare outside of one's cohort. You're comparing apples to oranges, and also you're hitting different milestones and targets. Whether you have someone in a cohort that's further advanced or a little behind or whatever. But within, you can compare notes and find people who are at similar stages in their journey. Now, I love Nicole over at Critical Crop Top with all of my heart. The growth I've undergone as an actor is in large part to what she has done with Critical Crop Top. She has allowed me an opportunity to grow doing sketch comedy, from casting me in her projects. The past 4 years and how much I've grown, just acting-wise, is phenomenal. And Nicole is a phenomenal woman, and she inspired me to start my own production company. Her breadth of knowledge about filmmaking, editing, movies, and life is just incredible. We both believe in filmmaking, in indie filmmaking, and in getting our stories made, and we both started our companies with similar goals. Hers to lift up the voices of women and minorities, and mine to lift up Black, brown, and beige people, especially queer and trans Black, brown, and beige people. Do you know, I said that perfectly, and whatever. I just love Nicole and all that she's accomplished professionally and personally. And to know that we're in similar boats when it comes to both acting and when it comes to our companies and when it comes to making a feature is incredibly therapeutic to know that, number one, I'm not going through this alone, and number two, we're going to help each other somehow. We had socially distanced tea the other day, and it was just so lovely. Number one, find your tea buddy. Yes, find your tea buddy. You can come to Mass this Friday, 5:30 to 6:30, as Clorinda and I host a mutual admiration society social. We should ask Nicole to be our guest, but you can bring your beverage of choice, including tea. But no, Nicole and I, we had a socially distanced tea the other day, and it was so lovely. Both of us talking about our features and how we're going to make them, and we don't know the first step in getting the funds. We need to get our films made, and now the fact that I have this gun on stage, I need to drink it. Nicole's script. It's a beautiful script. It's gorgeous. If you get into writing that way, where you're just like, it's gorgeous. And I love reading other writers' work. It's a beautiful script. It should be nominated for things, just the script alone, in the way that she describes scenes and the subtle moments that can't be spoken out loud but have to be written on the page for actors to write out. It's a beautiful story. I can't wait to see it made, and I wish I could give it more description without being over the top. But we're going to get our films made somehow. And last week, I was fortunate enough to have an audition via Zoom, only to find out the person leading the audition, we had so much in common. I can't spill their tea because it's not for me to say, but I just want to say that starting similar journeys around the same date, within 2 days of each other, and then somehow coming across this person, then being able to connect with them, and the two of us, we just cried. That is so vague, and I promise I'll tell more someday. To keep scattering about on tangents, a year ago, I took Naomi McDougall's class on making a feature. What is distribution, and what do you do? What do all these investment terms mean, and how do you go about doing any of this? And we were tasked with setting a date, because without a date, you don't have a plan. And I'm paraphrasing. She also helped us develop log lines. Look, I used the waltz in class, and she helped me hone my tagline and set a date. Even if the date changed, at least I had a target I was working towards. That was a year ago, and I think I've accomplished a lot since then. Lead actors and actresses found, directors attached, my Yellow Brick Road team assembling. And if you don't know what the Yellow Brick Road team assembling means, you need to take Naomi McDougall's class, which is available on her website. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's all coming together. It will happen. It's nerve-wracking to think about, but it will. And at the very least, it's a nice distraction. And in that distraction, I am amongst a cohort. It was helpful when it came time to making The Duchess, and with Seed and Spark, announcing these are other people who are making the film, a short film, and raising their funds too. To Nicole and I being in the same boat of wanting to get our features made. It's a nice distraction, at least while the world continues to be chaotic and seemingly fall apart around us. We don't know where the next few weeks, days ahead are going to go, what they're going to bring. We don't even know what happens after Inauguration Day. But what we can control is how we're feeling and how we respond to our environment. Isn't that right, Rico, my therapist? So, with all of that said, I'm going to go prepare for a Zoom meeting. I am going to find a way to meet with Nicole again to have some socially distanced tea and talk about how we're going to get our films made. And also, what you're going to do is you're going to go find the Ava Davis Show podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, and Anchor FM. Yes, you are. Just search for the Ava Davis Show. Yeah. I love you all. Keep bearing the lights of being. And until next time. Also, I'm gonna eat my sandwich. I'm really gonna eat it.